Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm Dear Darling, and shall we see what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhollow today? Where hopefully everything is working okay, because I did the OBS update which pushed everything to version 28, and it's almost poetic because that version 28 apparently changed the underlying framework of how plugins are, I don't know, done on OBS, which meant that my Stream Deck no longer worked, so I had to go install some plugins, which luckily Elgato posted the things basically being like, hey, this is what you need to do because we know that tons of people has said this has stopped working. We have fixed this like immediately. So anyway, good evening everyone. Right now in Fawnhallow, it's 8:14 p.m. on Tuesday, September 6th, 2022. We're visiting our campsite and we'll be arriving as per usual. Honestly, OBS looks actually quite sleek now. It's like the way it looked before was certainly like an early 2010s sort of maybe not early 2010s, but certainly that sort of feel of software program. Like I don't know how to describe it exactly, but the one we have now is very much into the sort of like late 2010s, early 2020s sort of style of software like interface, which I don't know if that's good or bad. I suppose in the end, I don't mind it. I do think it looks a lot sleeker, but really it doesn't look that much different. The only bad thing is I can't seem to be able to resize how big a preview window is as well, which is a bit annoying because I actually use a preview window to play Animal Crossing a little bit. I don't know, I can't seem to make it. I can only make it bigger, which seems a bit strange because I'm like, I don't want to make it any bigger. I want these buttons to like shrink down and be smaller. I don't need these buttons to be nearly as big. I need a preview window to be big, but it doesn't really matter as that much because I mean, Animal Crossing, I don't really need that big a thing in the first place. And the other games I play, I can play on the actual game screen rather than the tiny little preview window in the corner. How much is that preview in the corner? But yeah, anyway, so sort of continuing on from a birthday, well, not a birthday arc, but like the things that I'll be talking about with a birthday. I suppose now we're onto the needle. It's called needle felting, right? Part of the conversation. Like, long story short, you know, some of my friends, they got me stuff for my birthday. One of the things, which is a thing I talked about yesterday, was the Stream Deck. The other like sort of thing, which is like the thing they try and we always try and create stuff for each other, was needle felting, like these plushies that they sort of made. Now, credit to them, they're actually done pretty well, especially if you bear in mind the fact that I don't think any of them had ever sewn anything big before. But they might have done a little bit of sewing here and there. So you might be like, hey, what do they sew you? Well, the first thing that they I'll tell you the order that they gave it to me. First thing they did was basically a sort of recreation of my face. It was done by needle felting, and I'm going to be honest, it doesn't really look like me, and I don't think it's meant to, because obviously what's immediately apparent is if you see it, it basically looks like something which should be like a penguin or something, and then you'll see why it looks like a penguin later. But certainly when I saw it, I was like, interesting. And, you know, I showed someone else and they were just like, is that what your friends think of you? And I was like, apparently so. But obviously it was just like is more like what it represents rather than necessarily the accuracy. Because I think you'd be rather hard pressed to make a needle felting look exactly accurate to, well, anyone's likeness, to be honest, unless they look like a Potter Puppet Power or something like that. But yeah. Oh, I don't know if I've ever even talked about what needle felting is. Like, I'm not really an expert, but what needle felting basically is, you start off with like some, like, I don't even know what like the unit of whatchamacallit is. The unit of like, whoa, sorry, I'm not looking at my laptop over here. Just making certain that it's okay because I was doing updates on it. I've got a lot of electronics sort of surrounding me in like a semicircular pattern, which is bizarre to say the very least. But yeah, I don't even know what like the unit of measurement you use, but you start with like this loose piece of wool, I guess. I don't really know what to call it, and then you basically just like jab it with a needle multiple times, and then eventually it becomes something. It becomes like I don't really know how to describe it, but quite like a dense piece of wool, I suppose. A dense piece of wool which has a certain. Sorry, I keep having to turn away from my screen. I don't know why I put my laptop so far away. Hold on. At least I should have moved it over. It's not even plugged in or anything. It's like such a dense piece of wool, which then you can like add stuff to, and that's what we've done. They added like some long black hair to it, and they have added like, I suppose, button eyes, a button nose, and a button mouth. It's not actually buttons, but you know that's kind of like what you describe these sort of things. Does it look like me? no, I would particularly say, but its existence is, you know, if you were to show that to my circle of friends and be like, who in my circle of friends is this meant to represent, they'd be like, yeah, that's dear darling. So, you know, I guess they got back over it. Yeah, but the other thing is that the thing they gave me next was I don't remember which one was next, but I think it was a penguin. You know, I should actually ask them for because they recorded a video of me actually receiving them. Like I closed my eyes for all of them, but the first one, so I had to guess what they were. And I think I correctly guessed like almost all of them. I'm not really sure. But they gave me like a needle felted penguin. Then they were just like, oh yeah, well, you know, when we made your face, it also came from the same pack as the penguin, which makes sense because obviously they hadn't done needle felting before. It makes sense to buy, you know, one of those not pre-planned pack, but like introduction sort of packs where they're just like, oh, you know, use this, and then you go, oh my word, what was that? Oh, that was my USB cable got caught on a little bit over. You can use this pack and it'll be like, hey, this is how you actually, you know, start needle felting, or etc, 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 which is, you know, you kind of need one of those starting packs. Like if you get into any sort of arts and crafts, maybe people will turn up and knows that these sort of like pre-made packages or whatever to actually teach you how to do something, which is fair, I suppose. I wouldn't be surprised if you were actually well versed in the community, you'd be like, you know, they're not the best things, they're like an introduction or whatever. But honestly, for like the lay person, you know, if you don't really know what you're looking for, you don't know where to really start, just buying one of those like sort of arts and crafts sort of packs are really, you know, quite helpful. Like I had one before, like I had one when I was very young about making like these balloon faces. I mean, that's not really like a separate skill that you particularly need. It basically was just like a sort of prepaid, not prepaid, I suppose, no, it's not prepaid, a paid pre-made kit where you blow up a balloon and you stick like ears, eyes and nose and whatever on them, and it's meant to kind of like look cool, I suppose. Oh, interesting. Okay, hold on. I need to plug in my laptop, so I'm gonna have to pause the recording for a second. Sorry, it's that update needed for me to actually have my laptop plugged in. So, you know, I plugged it in over there. It's now behind me. So I had to like completely turn around now to actually check on it every so often. But yeah, oh yeah, but there's pre-made kits. Like I also bought one about, it was making like pom-pom pets or something. I can't remember when I bought that. I think I was in primary school still. Yeah, I must have been like year 3 or something. I'm trying to think if I had any other those like pre-made kits before. I think I had like science ones as well, actually. I like these science ones which were meant to be introduction to like robotics or whatever. And you made one which was like, or you can make one which like was activated whenever you got a TV remote and pointed at it, aka infrared. You had one which was like solar powered, which they were like you could use this as an alarm clock. And they had one which would, I can't remember what it was, but I think it was like it had like a proximity sensor on it. So if it got like too close to a wall, it would like go backwards and turn around and try and like find a different path. Oh, is it done? Oh, wow, that was actually quite a fast a fast update. Yeah, so those pre-made packs, I don't know what like the experts actually particularly think of them, but I'd imagine a lot of people are probably along the lines of being like, yeah, you shouldn't, you know, do them as a great introduction for kids or like that sort of hobby or hobcraft, that sort of thing, and adults as well, for adults who particularly want to, you know, get involved with that sort of thing and just don't really know where to start or where to, you know, well, do anything to really interface with it. But yeah, so they bought a needle felting kit of making 3 penguins. I only got 2 of the penguins in the end. Well, 1 penguin and then 2. The second one is a penguin version of myself, I suppose. The other one was apparently too small, so they, you know, binned it. Well, I don't know if they binned it. And then they actually made some cool, like handmade, like sewing sort of projects, which I thought was pretty cool. They didn't. I don't think they followed any sort of like pre-made guide. Well, not maybe. They might have followed guide, but not like a pre-made kit or something for it. The person that they gave me is actually a little sort of like mini version of Dee. It's like a little plushie. You know what it looks like? It actually looks like Mum's plushie in Animal Crossing. But like imagine instead of it being a dog, it looks like a deer, and it's a lot smaller and it's made of like a felt well, it's not felt, fabric, I suppose, rather than like a vinyl or whatever. Not like patchwork like the one in game is, and it's actually pretty cute. I'm not gonna lie. It is, I would say, quite scruffy. It's a thing I commented on when I looked at it. I was like, every single stitch in this is just a running stitch, which, you know, I'm not an expert in sewing, so I don't really know when you're technically meant to use a running stitch, but I would assume like a back stitch is probably what is the more conventional thing to use in these sort of things. And it's also when they sewed it, they didn't do he didn't do the inversion thing, so all the stitches are hidden on the inside. But if anything, it gives it sort of like a bit of a rustic charm to it. And the next thing he gave me was a little sloth hanging from like a pipe cleaner sort of tree. It's very sort of handicraftsy, like, and it's honestly quite cute. I'm not gonna lie. It's stuffed a little bit. I mean, they're all stuffed a little bit. And it's like hanging from a tree, but it's hanging from a very tiny thread. I'm not gonna lie. The hanging part is not so great. Well, okay, sorry. But like trying to chill on the tree branches is a bit iffy, but yeah, the actual sloth itself is very cute. It's like a flat 2D one. It's kind of like a dumpling. I think this is the one I guessed wrong. I thought it was like a banana or something hanging from a tree. And then the final one we gave you was actually a banana plushie. And I'm gonna say, you know, I mean, they're probably not watching this, but if they are, the banana plushies, not by far and away. I'm not gonna give it that much credit. It is pretty good, but because the others are pretty good as well. But I would say it's definitely the best executed one. Like, not only are the stitches reasonably clean, but also the fabric is inverted after they've done all the stitches, so most of the stitches are hidden in the first place, and it just looks very cute. I mean, they all look very cute, I'm not gonna lie. They've all got a certain charm, and, you know, the charm is only amplified now that, well, obviously my friends made them in the first place, so I'm just sort of like, look how much, look how special it is, look how much it now means to me, I suppose, to even own these in the first place. At least that's my sort of perspective. Not obviously, you might... Well, not that you won't agree with that, and I think you'd be quite remiss if you... Not remiss, but you just, you know, be quite bitter if you didn't agree with that. But they're obviously not something you would buy in, like, Harrods or whatever. But they hold a strong sentimental value to me, and honestly, they're very well done, I would say. As I said before, my friends haven't really done much stitching. That's something... I've done bits and pieces. I'm not sure... I probably made a plushie before. I can't really think, though. But I don't know if I mentioned it on the channel ever before, but I have at least mentioned it to my friends, being like, I really want to learn how to make a plushie one day. And I know how to sew, you know, and I know how to do, you know, running stitch, blanket stitch, back stitch. I'm trying to think what other stitches I might know how to do off the top of my head. I can't think of any other stitches I can know how to do from, like, button stitch, I guess, technically, but that's just kind of like going, like, making it X shape, isn't it? I don't know, it's been a while. Either way, I can do a bit of stitching, and I at least understand what sort of the system you need to employ to actually, you know, get it done. But it's just a thing I've mentioned before, sort of like in passing, being like, you know, it'd be really cool to learn actually how to do it not even properly, just like how to do it, and then like make your own plushies, that sort of thing. Like, imagine that, you know, I'm someone who very much loves plushies, so it's quite sort of like on brand, on theming, you might say. Take a picture. Self-route, probably should have done that. Customize. DIY projects, sure. We can do that indeed. That's not the camera. But yeah, but needle felting is also quite a cool one, which I've never tried before. I've only seen people do it, and my friends recorded a little bit of a behind the scenes of them doing it, and it's basically just sort of them sitting there, like, jabbing a piece of wool for, like, I don't even know how long it particularly takes, but, you know, what did I expect, I suppose. I think I'd be a little bit silly to expect, like, something crazy, sort of like revolutionary, but it is what needle felting is. You're just sort of jabbing a piece of wool for ages to make it float. I don't really know how it works, I'm going to be honest. I'm not really sure what the mechanics behind needle felting particularly are, or how it comes to be, but I assume it has some sort of history in, like, I don't know, wool spinning. That doesn't make any sense. Why would it have anything to do with wool spinning? But it's probably like some ancient technique or something which has been first discovered by, like, the ancient Egyptians or whatever, and now has sort of been adapted to this more modern craft work. That's my assumption. In fact, it's probably how they make felt, isn't it? That's why it's called needle felting, right? You're felting things with a needle. And wait, is felting a verb? I don't really know. Needle felting. So you go to Wikipedia, and Wikipedia will teach you everything you need to know. And by Wikipedia will teach you everything, I mean, I can't find the Wikipedia page of it. Simple English? What? Needle felt? It's got a simple English page, but not. Oh no, felt manufacturing methods. Needle felting, here we go. Is a method of creating felted objects. Okay, so yes. Quite self-explanatory, I suppose. Special needles used to make a 3D sculpture. Oh, you need a special needle. have notches along the shaft of a needle that catch fibres and tangle them with other fibres that produce felt. That makes sense. That's why felt looks like it has such a sort of interwoven, very messy, very messy interwoven sort of like look to it, doesn't it? Yeah, I guess I never really put it back together. But of course, you probably need a special type of needle. You don't need like a sewing needle, which goes smoothly in and smoothly out. You need quite a jagged needle. Let's see, needle felting special needle. Let's see if that actually comes up and I can see what it looks like. Can we see how many barbs on it? I mean, I can. Is this like zoomed in? Because it is huge. It's probably zoomed in. It's got like little notches or whatever on the side. Okay, yeah, let's see what it's like. I see indeed. Yeah, I mean, I guess that makes sense. I mean, okay, so it's by the tangling of the fibres together, which actually makes it needle felting. I'm surprised it has a simple English Wikipedia has an article on needle felting, but the actual Wikipedia doesn't. It's all put together in the actual felting process of Wikipedia. The kawaii style of needle felting was made popular by Japanese culture. Okay, wait, when was this invented, needle felting? Doesn't really say. They're more cute and playful. Yeah, I mean, it's a thing. I'm not going to say you see it on TikTok. I think you see a bit more on Instagram, but maybe you see it on TikTok a little bit. Nowadays, it's a very sort of like social media-esque felting art form. That's a bit specific, than like art form in general, like handicraft form, I suppose. Because it's quite satisfying to see it go from like basically just like a bunch of wool or like a massive string to eventually being like a very cute, like, I don't know, plushie of like an Animal Crossing character or something like that. But it's certainly something I'm being curious to try, at very least. It's interesting it caught on so much. I wonder if you can get some sort of like automatic needle felter. Like you put the wool in the centre and you like not even press the buttons, but like it's got like a load of needles all pointing to the inside and you sort of just like roll it about in your hands. Oh my god, it's Shino. Shino's super cute. There's absolutely no way I'm going to replace Audie for Shino. Shino is... she's one of the villagers who was introduced in the 2.0 update. She's insanely popular. She's basically the new Audie and Raymond. That occurred on Animal Crossing New Horizons release. Yeah, should we see like... Oh, what's Nookazon? Is that it? Where people trade like things, including villages. We can see how much of it Shino's selling for, because I think she might be the most popular villager right now. I don't know if that's true necessarily. Villagers? Here we go. I guess I should just search Shino. 150 and 10 million bells. Wait, who's the most expensive villager right now? Price high to low. Oh, apparently it's Judy. Judy's only 5 million bells, but 250 Nook Mile tickets. Something's gone wrong with a conversion here. Shino's not even on here. What? Audie has suddenly dropped to 65. I remember like on release she was like 200 Nook Mile tickets. And there's that one random person who bought Raymond for like 1,000. Raymond's still 400. My word. Like I could make such a high value island if I replaced... Who's probably the lowest value person on my island? Maybe Phoebe or something? I don't know. Phoebe's up here. 5 million bells. What? Quilson is 45 million bells. What on earth? Why is Quilson so popular? Unexpected. I guess Amelia might be then, but the lowest. I'm trying to think who's even on my island right now. Oh no, it's probably Rowan. It's definitely Rowan. If I replace Rowan with Shino, I then replaced. I mean, it's already a very expensive island. Obviously, I'm not going to do that because I have much more special connections to these villages here rather than just the random ones which just happen to be popular in the first place. You might be like, why do you have such popular villages on your island in the first place? Well, Lily I have a special connection with because she, joined my wild and was the longest reigning villager. I'll be honest, Audie, Vivian and Raymond were sort of just like spur of the moment because they were just... Audie and Vivian were ones which I just randomly discovered very early on from Fawnhallow, and they've been staples ever since. And Raymond, it was also just happened where I was like, I need a smug villager. He was the first smug villager that moved into the campsite, and he's great. Rowan was also a wild person. Biscuit was a wild person. Fawn is just, you know, namesake. I never actually had her on any of my previous iterations of Animal Crossing. Who am I missing? An Apollo and Amelia. I think I had Apollo on the Wii, and Amelia might have been in Wild World as well. I honestly can't remember. It's a bit hazy, to be honest. I just like them, you know. Doesn't get more complicated than that. But yeah, so I was talking about needle felting. I got a little bit distracted from that, you know, in time. Trailer thought. I'm always really worried when I mute myself. I don't mute myself properly because if you don't know, I tend to mute myself to cough. Like I turn away from the microphone to cough, except for I turn off the microphone to cough. Yeah, no, I'm worried just like sort of hear me go really loudly because it is quite a nuisance, I would say. Yeah, what was I going to say about needle felting? I feel like needle felting is it's an interesting hobby. Well, I mean, all these sort of handicraft hobbies I like to do. Well, you might be like, which one would you prefer to do out of sewing and needle felting? Almost certainly sewing, I'm going to be honest. I don't know, just like the idea of like making up these like templates, like fabrics or whatever, and like cutting them out and stitching them together in the right way, just and stuffing it to make like a little plushie. Something about it sounds a lot more enticing than needle felting, which seems like a lot of busy work, I suppose. I wonder if you could do needle felting with like a sewing machine. It might be a sewing machine. I guess you could if you just replace like, or at least you can make like a custom version, but probably isn't very efficient, right? Because you're not like doing needle felting in like a straight line. You're doing it like in a spherical grid isn't the right word, but in a spherical plane, I suppose. Yeah. I forgot what else I was gonna say, to be honest. I don't really have much else to say about needle felting. I think someone posted like a needle felting thing on my Discord server ages ago. Like with the Darling Discord server, and you might be like, what? People post on the Darling Discord server? Yeah, people do. I don't really, I'm going to be honest. It's probably why people don't post very often. I don't really stoke for conversations all that much. It's what you're meant to kind of do as a content creator, but get people talking, you know, post questions and people respond to you. I'm sort of like, nah, you lot do what you want, you know, you can post once a month, it doesn't really bother me. We're a tiny community anyway, in the first place. And I don't know, it's always a bit weird with content creators, isn't it? Like, this is, again, another tangent with content creators, because you're more here for content creating in the first place, aren't you, necessarily, than the community which surrounds it, which I feel always a bit of a shame, you know. If anything, if I became a much more popular content creator, I'd like to be one which has a reputation for a very nice and welcoming community, right? So people, so much so that people might even just join the community so much more for the community than necessarily for me. I think that would be sort of like a dream, isn't it? Maybe that's just me. Yeah, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh yeah, needle felting. Yeah, and plushie making, just in general. There are certainly pursuits I'd love to try at some point. Any of sort of these like handicraft things. I don't even know what other sort of handicraft things there are. Let's see. Handicrafts. I'll just Google it, and you know, whatever comes up will probably be interesting. Not interesting. Obviously, it'd be interesting. Crocheting, like. I can see myself certainly doing crocheting or knitting when I was older. I said this to my friend, and he was like, "You should stop being so like stereotypical in your old age or whatever, you know, break form or whatever." I'm like, I'm gonna be honest. I don't think I will. No, I don't think I will. I can totally see myself being the sort of person to like knit, sew, or crochet or whatever when I'm like an old granny or whatever. I can certainly see myself doing a lot of drawing as well, especially in my age, or like watercolor painting. I don't know. Explore mediums I don't usually. Who knows if I'll still be using a computer? Who knows if I even have eyesight for this in the first place? That's like, perhaps we shouldn't sort of like jump the gun here. Do I need to catch bugs? Oh, these are quite newing. Newing? Giant water bug. I mean, annoying. Bug catching might be doable, but on the other hand, have we found where I was crafting today? I don't know if we have, so let's go visit all our villages. Basket weaving? Nah. I can't particularly say that's my sort of thing. Pottery maybe. Pottery seems like something I'd like to try. I can't see myself doing it in my retirement, but maybe. Maybe like sort of trains your hand-eye coordination when you're older. I don't really know. I guess kind of like knitting kind of really does that in the first place, doesn't it? There's a lot of basket weaving here, I'm not gonna lie. I guess this is meant to be much more sort of like clickbaity. You'd be like, these are 5 handicrafts you've never tried before, never even heard of it. You had to try this instantly. We visited Rome, didn't we? I'm pretty sure we did. we say hi to Audie? We've not. Let's go say hi up to Audie. Pottery painting, looming, like weaving. That's an interesting idea. I don't know if I would. Who's our crafter today? Je ne sais quoi. Audie, I think you would love she though. She's quite like you. What's this? Embroidery? Indian handicrafts? No, I just kind of like want a list of like all handicrafts in existence. Is that too much to ask for? Textiles. Oh, here we go. Thanks, Wikipedia. Oh my god, there's so many. Jewelry design. That's an interesting one. Like accessory making. Sorry about that, a little bit of a pause. I know I was talking about, you know, needle felting. I don't really know if I got anything else to say about it, you know. But the things they created, pretty cute. Is perhaps what I was going to say. I probably should have just rounded off the episode instead of pausing, but unfortunately that's not always a choice you get to get. But yeah, I don't know, needle felting, it's cool. If you do it, you know, tell me about it. Is it fun? Is it not fun? I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to round off this episode here. So if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Daylining. Any likes, comments, subscription, shares, I greatly appreciated. Join me Dayline Discord, follow me on Twitter down below. Hope we see each other again. But for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye bye for now.